Week 11 college football recap with guys at the bar talking sports.
What? Are you doing season 2 of that stupid show?
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports. It's your boy, Hanger, looking for a beer. Actually, we're all looking for a beer, so if you want to buy the guys a beer, at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. That's it. Easy as drinking a beer. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Hanger, and this is your Week 11 college football recap with Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Let's go ahead and jump into this right now and start with a couple of notable games. Texas better be firing their coach after losing to Kansas 57-56. This is the first win for Kansas ever against Texas and only their second win this season. This was actually their first Big 12 road win in 13 years. Texas falls, and that's insane. Texas, yes, like I said, better be looking into some new coaching. And same thing with Florida. The Florida Gators, that is my team, by the way. They scored 70 points against Stanford, which should be a normal game against a team like Stanford, right? Emory Jones had a fantastic game, and but Stanford just came out and just made Florida's defense look like a third-string defense. It was just terrible. They scored 42 points to Florida's 35 points in the first half. Game ends at 70-52. Dan Mullen is definitely on the hot seat right now. And then now we'll jump into your top 25. Top 25, I am actually going by the College Football Playoff Committee's poll, not the AP poll. So if you think number 25 is not Arkansas, well, they are in the College Football Committee's poll, and that's really the only one that really counts right now. So I'm gonna be following that strategy for the next couple weeks as well, not using the AP. Last week I did use the AP. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Number 25, Arkansas played at LSU and kept it close right to the end, sending the game into overtime. By close, I mean not a lot of scores either. LSU was winning 10-3 at the half. But by quarter 3, it was 13-10. Arkansas, LSU managed to tie the game in the fourth, sending the game into overtime, where Arkansas got a field goal and wins the game 16-13. Arkansas has to face Alabama next week. Arizona came into their game against number 24 Utah 1-8 with the expectations that from everyone they'd have no chance at all. The Wildcats did not believe that though, and put up 14 points in the first quarter against the Utes. The game stayed close, but Utah eventually did pull away and won 38-29. At 7-3, the Utes stand at the top of the Pac-12 South and will likely play Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. The funny thing is they do play next week against each other also. Number 23, UTSA hosted Southern Miss in what was expected to be an easy game, but they struggled through 3 quarters, matching each other's points until the fourth quarter. UTSA remains undefeated, though, and won 27-17 against the now 1-9 Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Number 22, San Diego State played 7-2 Nevada at home and barely squeaked past them, winning 23-21. San Diego State is now 9-1 and finished their season playing UNLV and Boise State in the next 2 weeks. Number 21, Pittsburgh beat North Carolina in an overtime game. Pitt was dominant in the first half, but were shut out in the second half. North Carolina caught up by the fourth and forced the game into overtime. Pitt does get 7 points, though, and wins 30-23 in overtime. Number 20, Iowa Hawkeyes played Minnesota at home and struggled the entire game. The defense is about all that Iowa has, and their offense has been struggling to add points this season. Iowa figured out how to win in the end, though, and was able to put up 10 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Golden Gophers 27-22. Number 18, Wisconsin goes to 7-3 with a win against Northwestern, looking dominant as they should against Northwestern, who falls to 3-7 in the Big Ten West. Final score was 35-7. Houston, who is not in the CFB playoff committee's ranking, but will likely be after this week, goes to 9-1 in their win against Temple, 37-8. They will likely be playing Cincinnati in the AAC championship, and this is a team that can win that game. They are ranked 17th in the AP poll, and that's why I decided to go and put them into this conversation as well, since I do see them being in the top 25 next week. Number 17, Auburn hosted Mississippi State on Saturday and came out of the gate strong, wrapping up the first half with an 18-point lead at 28-10. Mike Leach must have had a heart-to-heart with his team and his offense, because Mississippi State came out for the second half swinging, putting up 13 points in the third quarter and diminishing Auburn's lead. Mississippi State wins that game in an upset, 43-34. Number 12, Wake Forest hosted number 16, NC State, who did trail most of the game. We knew this would be a shootout, though, with NC State being able to keep it close, and the only way Wake Forest would win is for their defense to be able to step up. The game came down to a last-minute scoring drive with NC State trailing by 3, but they could not get it done, and the Demon Deacons did survive 45-42. Number 11, Texas A&M falls to number 15, Ole Miss, who shut the Aggies out in the first half. Lane Kiffin's offense was able to perform, but more importantly, the defense was able to do what they needed to do to win this game, intercepting the ball twice from Texas A&M and handling any of those offensive opportunities that they had to score, and they did score. Ole Miss was 504 yards for the day and won 29-19. Number 10, Oklahoma State hosted TCU and picked them apart for 60 straight minutes, all 4 quarters. Easy win for the Cowboys in what some thought may be an upset. Oklahoma State wins this game 63-17. This Cowboys team is a group of guys that can win the Big 12. I'm telling you, they are playing with confidence with an astounding 683 yards of total offense yesterday. Number 9, Notre Dame went to Charlottesville to play the Cavaliers of Virginia, coming home with the win. They were actually only favored by 5 points. They definitely had something to prove, as their defense keeps Virginia at 3 points for the game, and they won 28-3 with 423 total yards. Notre Dame finishes the season against Georgia Tech and then Stanford. Huge upset in Waco, Texas, as number 8 Oklahoma gets their first loss against number 13 Baylor. This was a low-scoring defensive matchup between two teams that are known for their poorest defenses. It was 7-7 at the half, but Baylor took off in the second half, winning 28-14. Caleb Williams at Oklahoma will no longer be in that Heisman watch, which he never really was, but I did see him in some of those little Heisman watch lists throughout the last couple of weeks. Spencer Rattler actually had to come in and finish the game for him. Number 7, Michigan State still has only one loss after beating Maryland 40-21. Michigan State did control the screen the entire time, putting up 481 yards of total offense. Michigan State faces Ohio State next week in what could determine the Big Ten East winner. Number 6, Michigan went to Happy Valley to play Penn State. Michigan wins the game 21-17 in a headbanger physical matchup. Penn State loses 4 in a row now, while Michigan gets a much-needed win as they hope for things to go right in the quest for the Big Ten championship. They might make an appearance there if they can win out. Number 5, Cincinnati, getting a little more love from the College Football Playoff Committee, moving up from 6th to 5th, had very little added to their strength of schedule this week, playing USF, who had only won 2 games this season. They remain with only 2 wins, as the Bearcats win 45-28. Desmond Ridder was 31 for 39 with 304 yards in the air. Pundits nationwide were calling for spoiler alert as the number 19 Boilermakers headed to the Horseshoe. But number 4, Ohio State said, no way, we are not having it, putting up 21 points in the first quarter just to put those upset dreams to rest. CJ Stroud threw for 361 yards and 5 touchdowns as the Buckeyes put up 624 yards of total offense. That's insane. Purdue loses 59-31. Ohio State still has Michigan State and Michigan the next 2 weeks to wrap up their regular season. Washington State was able to hold their own in the first half against number 3 Oregon, each team scoring 14 points. But in the second half, Oregon was able to pull away and win 38-24. Oregon is now 9-1 and face Utah next week, and Oregon State the following week to wrap up their season. Utah is playing some good ball. Look for a good game there. Number 2, Alabama had no problem against New Mexico State, obviously, on Saturday. New Mexico State only put up 3 points in their first drive. I tell you what, on Facebook you heard so many people saying, oh, look, New Mexico State's going to win, but they never scored again. Alabama with an easy win, 59-3. As expected, Alabama has Arkansas and Auburn to wrap up their season the next 2 weeks. Tennessee, this is not the biggest game of the week, but number 1, Georgia. Everyone's rooting against them that hate them, right? Everyone that loves them are rooting for them. But Tennessee came out strong in the first quarter, aggressively throwing and getting downfield and scoring a touchdown, likely the best defense in college football history, in number 1, Georgia. But Georgia was not having it, matching them point for point in the beginning and then pulling away as the game continued. Stetson Bennett has figured out his place in this team and has been on fire the last few weeks, and against Tennessee also. Georgia wins 41-17. A few kinks in the armor may have been exposed for Alabama to take advantage of, as they are likely to be facing Alabama in the SEC Championship, which is in Atlanta in early December. And that is your Week 11 college football recap. Those were all the exciting games that we did have, and several upsets, especially that Oklahoma game. So I appreciate those that join the show every week and listen. And if you'd like to, go ahead and join our Facebook group as well. Just type in Guys at the Bar Talking Sports when you look on Facebook and you'll be able to see it. Join the group. It is fun and it is free. And keep on coming back every week for more Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, man, how can I help these guys out? Well, first thing you can do, subscribe to the show. By subscribing to the show, you'll be able to hear it every single week on your favorite podcatcher. Second thing you do, if your podcatcher lets you do it, give it a review and 5 stars. I know Apple Podcasts will allow you to do that. So give it 5 stars and a review. And then the third thing you do is hop on Facebook, type in Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. You'll see our group there. Join it. You'll love it. Best sports group on Facebook, guaranteed. Lots of good stuff going on in there, so check it out. And then come back next week for Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.